Hi. Uh, I wanted to actually talk about today a technique. Now, I've said this before. I'm not super into techniquing because what works for someone may not work for someone else. A technique is nothing more than a permission slip to put yourself into a higher frequency. That's it. Something that gives you hope, that moves you maybe from depression to anger, or from anger to optimism, or from optimism to joy, from joy to bliss. Just moves you one little step higher. That's really all a technique is. Now, we live in a vibrational universe, which means that the only thing that matters, the thing is your frequency. Frequency first. That's it. So this is actually one technique. If I had to choose one, only one to do the rest of my life, it would be this one, and this is the one that I would do on a daily basis. So you've probably heard of the idea of living every day as if it were your last, which is similar to the idea of dying, kind of like dying before you die, right? And the kind of Americanized, westernized approach to that is like, yeah, I'm just going to kind of pretend it's my last day, so that gives me an excuse to go out and, party, eat whatever I want, just do whatever the hell I want and have fun, which is great. That's fine. Okay. But I'm going to actually show you kind of a different approach to this that I think is far more powerful, and that will get you into a daily frequency of attracting all the things you want in your life, all the things that are the best for you coming into your life. So first is, I want you to actually convince yourself when you wake up tomorrow morning, sit down, shut your eyes, convince yourself that today really is your last day alive, your last day here on earth. This is it. Who knows how your death is going to come at the end of the day. Maybe an asteroid hits Earth. I don't know. Or you just drop dead or something. But today is your last day alive. That's it. Okay. Convince yourself of this. And it's actually not too hard to convince yourself of this. Remember, the subconscious to the thinking, subconscious to conscious, is a two-way street. You think something enough, and with enough conviction, you will be convinced of it. And it's actually strangely easy to convince yourself that you're going to die today. So do that. Today's your last day. That's it. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that it's not actually apprehension or dread or any kind of dark thoughts that you feel about it. What you actually feel is more like a sense of peace. So that's the first thing you may notice. It's not a dreadful thing. You actually kind of feel like, okay, a sense of peace and acceptance. That's just the first thing. And then think about, okay, today's my last day. What would I, now that I'm really convinced of it, it's not just an excuse to go out and have fun or experience pleasure, but what would I actually do today with my time, if it being my last day? Okay. Now, it's interesting what will come into your head, because you may be thinking, so it's not the things that, the westernized version really gets people to think. Like, you don't really want to go out and experience the most pleasure possible, however you may want to experience that. You don't have time to go travel the world in a day. There's tons of things you don't have time to do in this particular day. You're probably limited in some way, from, by your location, your transportation options, who's with you, who's around you, maybe the weather, right? So most likely your options are fairly limited as to what you can do. But now it's your last day, and you have this kind of sense of peace that's come over you, right? So let's assume a worst case scenario for this day. Let's assume that you have scheduled a lunch or a dinner with like a family member or a group of people. Let's say it's like a close family, like a sibling or parents that always seems to trigger you and dredge up very challenging narratives that send you into a spiral of self-doubt, despair, depression. Right? Most of us have some kind of like scenario like that in our lives. We have this person who seems to have been assigned to our life to psychologically or psychically torture us in some way, to cause difficulties, to make us doubt ourselves, and we can't seem to grok it. We can never figure it out, or just we can't get the right approach to it, and it always ends up sucking us into those narratives. Like I think most of us have someone like that, or some kind of social scenario that for whatever reason we're kind of obligated to revisit again and again, right? And this is the way this game is designed, right? It's designed with these things, God. I say God. God is all of us. It's source energy, but God is not stupid, right? God knows how to design something that's effective. So, let's say worst case scenario, you have this actual lunch with these people or this person that just always gets the narrative going, that dark narrative. So given that it's your last day alive, maybe you don't tell them, but would you really go to this lunch with the idea of like, finally, I'm gonna tell this person off. I'm gonna tell them exactly how I feel. I'm gonna finally put them in their place. Would you really do that? Think about it. I mean, the answer is probably no, because that means you'd be spending your last day alive in a frequency of anger and hate, like a very low frequency, and you wouldn't want that, right? Also, given that it's your last day alive, like who cares? Like, they'll be where you are soon enough too. They'll be dead soon enough. So you will actually be going to this with the idea of, no, I like this kind of new piece I've found. I want to stay in this high frequency. I'm going to experience this event with acceptance, love, and joy, no matter what. And it will suddenly be so easy to do that you will be saying, why didn't I actually just make this approach before? Everything it'll be so easy to be in this high frequency of acceptance and peace and love and joy and forgiveness, especially forgiveness, because that's kind of the first thing you may have to do with this person, right? Is you'll be sitting there and you can just be thinking in your head, okay, I totally forgive you. You'll be in a state of forgiveness and love. So that's you'll want to spend the day, no matter what it is, whether you have this event planned that's obligatory or nothing else, nothing at all planned, you'll want to spend it in the highest frequency possible. So that means a frequency of love, peace, joy, and acceptance. And it will come so easy. And the things that you overlook on a daily basis, whatever it is, your desk, the shirt you're wearing, stuff that used to annoy you about your spouse or significant other, you'll suddenly kind of laugh about and appreciate on a different level, and it will come so easy. So I suggest that you at least give this technique a try tomorrow, and if it works for you to put you into a state of love and acceptance all day, just keep doing it. This is a really powerful one. So just wanted to share that with you. Thanks.